Also, I'm taking Dan and Josh shopping for the rest of you.
Alright, yeah, so it's called King and Culture. And so Tim Harrison came and did one called King of Culture, and his was just flipping awesome. So I don't know if you want to like star his and then star mine. I don't know, link them together. But like just the stuff that he was talking about was so awesome. I planned this talk last year, so kind of like some parallel stuff going on, but also kind of taking a different take on it. And just I don't know. I didn't want to just like sort of be like, okay, yeah, he's covered it and he's done it, because you can't just have one talk on kingdom culture. It's something that is so important that we really need to like hit home on it. So kingdom culture is probably one of the things that I am most passionate about. It's probably one of the biggest. It's what Jesus came to do, is to change the culture of this world. I also wanted to take this time to clear up, so you guys know that you're here on a leadership course. So let's go around and I want you guys to give me some things in the faith, so in like Christianity, what kind of things do people lead in Christianity? Tom, do you want to speak or not? It's up to you, we'll go this way.
Churches, pastors.
Yeah,
churches.
people lead churches.
Worship.
Yeah, people lead worship.
Like Bible group?
Bible groups, small groups, pub groups.
Youth groups.
Yeah.
Communion?
Communion, yeah, just like specific things in the church.
Mission and outreach.
Yeah, missional outreach things. No?
No, I've not even got my notepad.
Right. Yeah, those are the main things I got. So those things, as you may have noticed, we haven't been giving you loads of tips and tricks and like training on how to actually lead a church, like what it takes to be a leader of a church, or how to lead small groups. We've given you a little bit, but that's not been the main focus of Soul Age. Would you agree? Yeah. So what have we been, why do we call this a leadership course? So we call this a leadership course because the sole aim is to train you guys to be people that lead the world out of darkness. That's the crux. That's what it's all about. The world we talked a lot, like just in conversation, about how like lost the world is. We all know it. We see it. The world is lost. They are in darkness. So what we want, what like my passion is, and the other guy's passion is to raise you guys up to be people that are going to go out into the world and lead people out of the darkness into the light. So we're giving you and pushing you and encouraging you in the skills that's needed for that. So it's not just, basically all the things that we said was like stuff in a church. There's like youth groups, mission trips, small groups, just the main church. That's all the church. But we're training you to be people that you could go into a place where there isn't even a church. So in Pelican, it wasn't a church. But we're training you to be able to go into those places, go into the workplace, university, your social friendship circles, your family might not be Christian, all these places, and lead those guys out of darkness into the light, into the church. Yeah. So the skills that we wanted to be giving you were these five main skills. There's probably a bunch more, but the main things are these 5 things, which I want you to write down, so that you can, if you're ever, well, when you are leading other people into those stuff, I'll give you my notes down here. If you are, do you want to grab your notebook, Tom?
I think I left it at the others.
Oh, do you want a piece of paper?
I need a pen as well.
Someone got a pen and paper?
Yeah.
Lauren stole my pen.
I've got a pen.
Oh, what? I've got it.
Piece of paper.
left hand first.
Yeah, so when you guys are raising leaders up, you know you can kind of have these 5 things as things that you want to be doing, and you can just keep these as a focus on yourself. So 1, being able to hear our Dad's voice. That's key. If we're going to bring the kingdom, if we're going to lead the world out of darkness into light, you've got to be able to hear what God is doing, what God is saying. Number 2, you need to have a right understanding of who our Dad is. Number 3, you need to have a right understanding of who you are. Number 4, we need to be getting our hearts in love and broken for the same things that our Dad was broken for and in love for. So getting our hearts in love and broken for the same things as our Dad. In love with and broken for.
Can you repeat that whole last one?
Getting our hearts in love with and broken for the same things as our Dad's. Number 5, getting bold and committed enough to put the love and brokenness into action. Getting bold and committed enough to put that love and brokenness into action. So those are the things that we are training you and equipping you with on Soul Edge, so that we don't just like teach you, okay, when you do a small group, you wanna give people different things to say so that you're breaking up your voice. It's not all monologue and rah rah rah. Those are like just practical tips. If we get you guys to be just genuine leaders from the inside, you guys will just figure that stuff out. You'll be able to go into any situation and be like, okay, I can hear my Dad, so he can tell me what to do. I know who he is. I know who I am, so I know what authority I've got. And I'm so broken and in love with the things of the kingdom that is so on my heart to see the kingdom advance, and I'm committed enough, and I'm strong enough, I'm bold enough to actually do something about it. So if you've got that, I don't even need to tell you how to be a leader. You can figure it out. So to lead, does anybody need any of those points again? Kind of slipping fast. So to lead the world out of darkness, we need to be culture changers. That is your job title, if you wish. My job is to be a culture changer. We're not designed and sent out to be people that go into the world, that go into certain situations and certain places and just fit in to how these guys do it. We're not supposed to just go with the flow of our surrounding areas. To just like, okay, come into a new place, come into maybe a new church or university or a workplace and be like, okay, how do they do it? Right, they do it like that. I'm gonna slot in. That is the opposite of what we're called to do. We're called to swim against the flow. We're called to be salmon. Inspirational animal.
Eaten by bear.
Yeah. Some of us get eaten by bears. It's just the reality of it. So yeah, whether that be in university, in work, in your family, or in your friends, on your social networks, we're called to change that culture. So we're training you guys to be people that implement the change. Now when I first read that, I put to decide what that change is to be, but that's not quite accurate. So you guys are the implementers. God is the one that decides what this culture is to be. So you come into a new place and you can hear God's voice, you're passionate about doing something about it, and God tells you, this is what my kingdom actually looks like. I want you to go and implement it. So you don't have to come in and go, okay, let's analyze this and what needs to be changed and what's going on. We just come in. We love these people, and just in our communion with God, God will highlight things to us on what needs to be changed in that culture. So God decides, you implement. So another kind of way of looking at it is, everyone's been in the prayer pit, right?
No.
You've seen inside the prayer pit.
I haven't actually seen that.
What, you haven't opened the door and looked in?
Yeah. I don't really know.
You haven't even like, oh. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, can you imagine it's dark? Yeah. So the prayer pit is dark. What happens when you put a light in there?
Gets lighter.
Yeah, it gets lighter. Is it like, whoa, let's blind the night? No, it's not. It's just one candle. There's a reason that Jesus uses the analogy and the image of a light, where he calls himself the light. He calls us to be lights to the world. It's not just because it's nice. It's because when us in our battle against darkness, light is 100% always the conqueror. If you put a candle in the pit, even though it's pitch black, there's so much darkness in that place, you put one little candle there, the darkness, no matter how much it tries, it's not going to overpower that candle, is it? You look at this candle and it's like, that is a weak, feeble thing, I could just blow it and it goes out. But darkness has absolutely it's got no standing, there's no way it's going to overpower even one candle. And it's really vital that you guys see yourselves as that. And you see the battle that you're against as darkness. That it's not just by our very nature, being sons and daughters of Christ, or sons and daughters of God, and having Christ's blood all over us, there's just by that very nature, there's no way that darkness can win. No way. No matter how weak and feeble and untrained you feel you might be, you're in no battle for the enemy. All he's got is fear tactics and telling you, I'm big. Look at this place, look around you, there's so much darkness, there's so much of me, the enemy right now, and you're just one little candle. So, talking about changing cultures, I've got a story of when I went for my motorbike. I wanted to get my motorbike license a couple of years ago. And what you have to do is, it's kind of like your driving test, you have to do at least 6 lessons with a motorbike instructor. So I was trying to get those in, so I got at the place, got it all sorted, turned up, said I had to be there at 8:30, so I got there at 8:15, woohoo, good me, I'm early. Turn up to this this place where there's just like these, what they call the big like freight boxes that are like big metal.
Shipping containers.
Yeah, shipping containers. There's just like a bunch of those, there's a bunch of motorbikes in them, and one of them's the office, and it's got like posters of naked girls up inside and stuff. And I walk in like 8:15, hello, here's my motorcycle training. And they're like, it's not 8:30 yet, get outside, wait. Get outside and then sit in my car, wait for the instructor to come out. He comes out, starts up the bike, and a little afraid to go over. So go over, hi, it's 8:30. Yeah, sit on this bike. Right, do you know what it is? Yeah, the motorbike. Yeah, do you know what's this? The brake. No, it's the clutch. This clutch is going to be your new best friend. You don't go anywhere without thinking about this clutch, alright? Who's your best friend? Steve. No, it's your clutch! Okay, my clutch. That's just like, man, this guy, and then like, I was like, did the session like completely just fearful of what this guy's going to say to you next. And then like, we finish up, go into the big box, and he's like sitting there, he's like this huge guy, like he is fat and big, and just like stereotypical Southeast London, like I'm just gonna like go and drink some beer and punch some people and then sleep with some girls. That's like this kind of guy. And I'm in this box waiting for him to tell me what to do next, and he's like chatting to this other guy, like talking about these motorbikes and all these engines, and like, oh yeah, if you like pass the test with this one, but then you like tweak this bit here, then you can actually go faster than you're allowed to, and the police won't even know, and it's pretty awesome, like rah rah rah. And I'm just like, this is not me, like I can't fit into this culture. And genuinely, like what I wanted to do was I wanted to come back next week, and I wanted to like show him that, like, just naturally, instinctively, I wanted to show him that he could almost basically accept me. He could like me, so I could like try and perceive to him that I knew stuff about bikes, and that actually I'm not this like just short little dweeb, that I can actually like impress him with my knowledge of motorbikes and how I like to do similar things to him. And I was doing that, and it was kind of working. He was like warming up to me, if you will, being a little less aggressive. And then I realised, like, man, this guy he's sort of impressed authority over me, and like, and tried to make me believe that he was better than I was, and he was more important than I was. When really, I knew in my heart and in my soul that this guy, by the very fact that he doesn't know Jesus as his Lord and Saviour, is lacking something. He's broken. He's not whole. He's not living in the fullness. I knew that. So why I wanted to conform to his way of doing things, I have no idea. And I didn't have to be scared of him. I didn't have to be worried about what he was thinking of me or whatever. I didn't have to worry about if he found out if I was a Christian or not. So actually I went in and I just decided to commit and be bold, to just completely be myself. To talk to this guy as if he was just one of you guys. Be exactly who I am. And I started doing that. And actually basically the end result was so awesome. We hit it off, and like the other guys, he was just like, yeah, he'd talk to them about motorbikes and whatever, and they would talk to him about the same thing, and they'd like gel and mesh, but they didn't actually develop any kind of relationship. They just like shared their fronts with each other. But God encouraged me to actually just be vulnerable and share exactly who I was, and we actually became great friends, and we were talking about way deeper stuff that like after the lesson, and he was actually a Freemason, and we talked a lot about that and stuff, and like compared it with Christianity and just talked to him about God, and like it was just such a great opportunity, and the results were so much better than me trying to fit in. It was just awesome. And if I'd had more lessons and stuff, then who knows what I would have moved on to. So that is, in short, me coming into a culture and deciding to put Jesus in it, in just be Jesus and love this guy. And we talked about his kids, his family, things that he struggled with, things that like broken marriages and all this sort of stuff. So much deeper than what we could have talked about if I tried to fit in. So that was kind of like an obvious place in which a culture needed to be shifted and changed. And you guys might be going into places in the future where it looks like, oh great, Jesus is already here, like maybe at your CU or your church, like this is already a culture that is focused around Jesus, and it's great. But what I would love to see you guys be is people that go into a place and have the image of, okay, I'm just another candle, I'm just another light, and I'm going to be put into this place. If there were 6 candles in the pit, would it still be dark? Yeah, it wouldn't be like bright, shining like the sun. So we could always just be having the mindset of like, I'm another candle going into a place and brightening up this place. And if we really have the understanding that we are a body, then you will believe and you'll know that you are that you've got something specific that maybe the rest of the people in the church don't even have. So you've got some certain skills, some certain characteristics that are vital to this culture being the way it is, this church, this CU, this family being what it's supposed to be, being what God wants it So that's where you need a right understanding of the body and of who you are. And it's definitely not to say that you're to go into a place with these skeptical eyes and just walk in and be like, okay, what needs to change? This I know this isn't going to be the kingdom. It's going to be like rubbish. So let's find out what me, a soul edge graduate, can bring to this place. No, it's not like that, obviously. But you are like, it's kind of a hard balance to find, because you're not to come into a place all proud and like, I'm a soul edge graduate and I've been trained as a leader, rah rah rah. But you are to come to the place knowing I'm a soul edge graduate. I've spent 5 months hearing God's voice and I've learned all these things, and I am powerful, and I've some of them, especially ones that are within the church and around Christians, like there'll be, in some of those will be easier and some of those will be harder than others. Some of them are going to be long-term things. So when you go back into the world, or when you're even as we're here on Soul Edge, like at the church or a small group or in Pelican, when God starts to really open your eyes to the potential of His kingdom in this place, so you will see something and you'll be like, that is just not how, it's not its potential. There's so much more that this place can be at. What we need to realise is that it's a long-term game, it's a long-term mission, and some are more long than others. So we can't get frustrated, we can't be surprised, we can't be disappointed. If you're surprised at the way it's supposed to be, then you're kind of a bit of a fool, because you should know already that the world is broken, and even the church and all these places, they're full of broken people. So it's no surprise that they're not living in the potential of the kingdom. You don't have to be disappointed with these people for not living in the kingdom. That's not your place to be. Your place is to implement. So all you do is love these people, work towards moving that culture into something that looks more like the kingdom. Right. So that was kind of number one. You need to taste and see what you're leading these people into. Number two was to recognise and be on board with and love that culture. Yeah, just kind of what I always said. You need to be in a place where you absolutely love the kingdom. So that is what you're all about. You want that your life is about bringing the kingdom to earth. Because Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God, and all else will be given to you. Seek first. The first thing is His kingdom. All the rest, that just comes. And number three, here's the crux. Everything lies upon this. Everyone revolves around this. Without this, you're not going to move an inch. There's almost like a direct correlation between how much of this you've got and how much kingdom you're going to bring. And I'll remember what the third point was. Boldness, yeah. We need boldness. We need it. So passion can be momentary, and that we can be standing here in a worship session or in a talk and be like, yeah, I want to go bring the kingdom, and I want to go do this. I want to see the captives freed. I want to see God just like explode in this place. I want to see my friend come to Christ. I want to see this person on the street be healed of like paralysis or whatever. You want to see this stuff and you can get passionate about it, but that could be momentary. That can be squashed as soon as you're in the tough spot. So if your mission is to go out and free those who are in the sex industry, the sex slaves, you can be all passionate about it, but when you come face to face with an actual time to actually do something about it, that passion can be gone, and it probably will be. It might be there, but a lot of the time, it's gone. So what we need to do, we need to have a skill where we don't act upon current feelings and emotions and passion. We act upon truth. We act upon what we know is in us, in our hearts. So you can think, okay, I know, like 2 days ago, God was speaking to me, He was revealing stuff to me about His kingdom in this place. And I was so passionate about it. I was so ready to bring His kingdom there. And now this is my chance, and I'm pooping my pants, and I'm scared, and I don't want to do it. But that's not going to stop me. I'm going to act on my previous passion. It's kind of like when I used to be into BMX biking. Basically, long story short, I was so rubbish at it that I gave it up and stopped pursuing it. But in the time, I'd be like in school thinking about like when school's finished and yeah, I've made these cool jumps down at the woods. And I'm going to get on my bike, I'm going to run home, I'm going to get on my bike, I'm going to sprint down to the park, and I'm going to go to these jumps, and I'm going to hit them, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to jump. And then like, so I've got all this passion building up in me all day, and I get there, get on my bike, cycle all down to the woods, get to the jumps, look at the jumps, go, bye! I just poof it, man. Like might get to the end of the trail, right up to the jump, yeah, and just right up the other way because it's just petrifying. You see this jump right ahead of you, and you're like, oh my goodness, any second now I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to be in the air, and I might fall flat on my face. And the number of times I did, I definitely fell off more times than I landed it. So, in the moment, all the passion was gone. What was overpowering was fear. So what was needed was boldness. I needed to be bold, I needed to be strong, and I needed to just like, no, I'm going to hit this. Because I know, even though I can't really look past this fear and see that what I want is to hit this jump, I do want to hit this jump. I know it. Even though I can't feel it, I know it. Don't be a pussy. Basically what I'm trying to say. So when you break the mold, basically what we're talking about is breaking the mold. I don't know if you've ever seen that Jumper Source Survivor or that picture where you know the Christian fish symbol. It's like swimming this way and then all the other fish are like swimming the other way. And it's just kind of a cool image of, you know, as Christians we're called to swim the other way. We're called to swim upriver, we're called to swim against all the other fish, like where they're going. We're called to break the mold. And there's two things that can come out of breaking the mold. So let's, two things. Basically, one, people can think you're strange, and it can get all awkward and weird, and it could raise up like aggravation, and people can get upset. Point two, people can start to become liberated. They can become freed. They can be refreshed. So, an example, there was someone that I thought, just in worship, that I thought their just voice is awesome. I think they've got a really nice voice. They sing really well. And what I wanted was a culture where if we saw something that was good, we told that person. If there was an opportunity to encourage someone, we took it. That's the culture that I wanted. So what I wanted to do about that was, okay, I've seen that this woman is a great singer. I want to tell her. But that's not kind of done. Like sometimes it's done, but not really. So like after the worship, we were just in the room together. So I just said, by the way, I just realised like hearing you sing today in worship, I just thought it was amazing, and I think you've got a really nice voice. And she was just like, okay, thanks. Just like walked off. And she was just completely weirded out, and it was awkward and it was weird. So what I'm saying is that sometimes can happen, and on bigger scales also. Like if you're on like the church leadership team and you see something that the church has been modelling and walking in for years and years and years, and you actually say, in a respectful and loving way, I think we should take it down this avenue. They could all just be like, what are you talking about? Or like you could say like, I want to have instead of having a preach in the main service, I want to lead the whole church in a prophetic activation. So I want everyone to prophesy over people. That's like against the mold and bold and out there, and you might cause controversy. But so it's got potential. It's got two potentials. It's got potential to make things awkward and weird and not great, but it's got potential to do something so much bigger. It's got potential to move people in closer to the kingdom. So if we did that, people could realise that actually they're prophetic and that they've got the skills, and God might speak to a bunch of different people. Like it's got big potential. So we're sending you out to be leaders, but you could also say we're sending you out to be models. All right, for people to look at and go, that's like they're modelling it well. If you see something in the culture that you want to change, you got to do it. You got to model it. You're not just going to go and preach the word to people and evangelize people. You've got to model it. You've got to be able to do what Paul and Jesus said. They said to people, "Come, follow me." Like I know that I've got I've got something that if you came and followed me and watched me day in, day out, you'd get something good. Like, come do it. They're confident and bold enough in what they've got to say, come follow me. 1 Corinthians 4:6. You know what that says. Corinthians 4. Brothers and sisters, I have used Apollos and myself as examples so you could learn through us the meaning of saying, follow only what is written in the Scriptures. Then you will not be more proud of one person than another. So it says, I've used myself and Apollos as examples. That's bold. Okay. Coming into land, as some preachers say. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go on too much longer. Wow. So 1 Corinthians 4:15 says, for though you may have 10,000 teachers in Christ, you do not have many fathers. Through the good news, I became your father in Jesus Christ. That's Paul. It's not Jesus saying, I'm your father. It's Paul. He's saying, there's a bunch of people that can teach you the good news. There's not many people that are willing to become your father. A father is so much deeper and closer than a teacher. A teacher doesn't really care if you, well, hopefully they care if you get it or not, but they're not willing to sit down with you and go through a bunch of stuff and feel your pain. That is what we're raising you guys up to do. Be fathers and mothers. Cool. So, to finalise, from now on, before we said to you, like, it's not a time to be giving out, it's a time just to be receiving. This training stage is receiving. Now we're slightly moving away from that. It's still majoritively a time for you to receive and learn and grow, but also in the opportunities that we've got, like in small group, on Sundays at church, just day to day as we're meeting people, we want you to really take those opportunities. To know, not in a proud way, but to know that you have got something that can be given to these people. You understand something, you know something that can be given to these people, so walk in that. Don't walk in pride, walk in truth.